Hello and welcome to Irresistible You, Ignite Your Passion and Purpose. I am your host, Karen Seltz. I'm so excited that you are here with me. If you are new to me, there's really only three things you need to know. The first thing is that if you are on this journey of stepping into your calling, finding your purpose, and you find yourself holding yourself back until you get everything perfect, just know that I've been in your shoes and I am very honored to be on this journey with you. The second thing you need to know is I consider my greatest superpower to be that of a divine mirror. And what I mean by that is I have the ability to see people through the eyes of the divine, meaning I see them in their perfection, their beauty, their gifts, and I see that there is not one single thing about anybody that is unlovable or unworthy. And I'm able to reflect that back to people until they get it for themselves. And the last thing you need to know about me, the third thing, is that I am uncensored in my approach. And what that means is I'm willing to say the hard things, the things that most people won't say. I'm willing to do the difficult things, and I'm willing to go wherever I'm called to go to get you to a breakthrough. So hold on to your hats. Let's rock and roll. I chose this topic tonight on intuition because I feel like as children, it is trained out of us to listen to our guts. So I'll give you an example. It would be like you go see your grandma and there are a lot of people there, aunts, uncles, cousins, and your mom says to you, go give Uncle Harry a kiss. And Uncle Harry's creepy, right? And you're like, your body's contracting, it's pulling back, it's saying, no, don't. But you feel like you don't have a choice, and you probably don't as a kid. So you go give him a hug or a kiss, and you're like, ugh, like your body is cringing. It's things like that that teach children you don't matter, you don't have a right to choose, and don't trust yourself. Let someone else decide for you because you don't know well enough. So over the course of our lifetime, we get different types of freedom taken away from us. For example, my oldest daughter is really, really gifted in school, and she liked to learn standing up. Well, that was not allowed. In her school, like sit down, sit in your chair. And who knows where she'd be if she was allowed to be standing, to honor her body and the way that she learns uniquely. So it's little things like that, like things that get taken away and get trained out of us. So I have had a journey over the last, I would say 25 years of starting to listen to my intuition, to my inner guidance. And I want to share with you what is possible when we cultivate that, because it is a skill. We get to relearn everything that was, trained out of us as children. So I want you to remember back to a time when you were little, before you learned not to trust yourself. Maybe you were free. Maybe you were just playing make believe with dolls or trucks, or maybe you were outside, doing airplane arms. But sometime when you were absolutely free and not a care in the world. And remember like what your body felt like. Now the body is a beautiful lie detector, and it tells us so much. It is a computer. And it is so much smarter than the 5% of us, that makes up our conscious mind. So when you think back to that feeling of freedom, how do you experience that now? Like, how often do you get to that place where you experience that level of freedom or flow or joy? And what is something that you could do right now to get back to that place where you just trust yourself, you love yourself, you're in love with life, you're having fun, you're in the moment, you're present and not worried about anything? Now, hopefully you have some situations like that you can connect to, especially in your childhood and even as an adult. But if you don't, we're going to play, because that's who I am. I like to play. So the first thing that I want to share with you about trusting your intuition and learning to trust it is that everybody that I've spoken to in real life, like my real life test sample, who's experienced some type of trauma, like a car accident, some kind of accident, even a violent crime, I asked them, was there a moment prior to that happening where your gut told you to do something else and you ignored it? And 100% of the time they say yes. 100% of the time they had some type of knowing ahead of time and they didn't listen to it. And that's a place where many adults would then beat themselves up for, instead of using it as, wow, that's amazing that I'm able to notice it now. And now what? New moment. What can I do next time? Because if you don't listen to it, it will get louder next time. Like, you get to learn the lesson to trust yourself, and you will learn it eventually. You can learn it through play. You can learn it through hard times. You choose. So I would love for you to think back to a moment where maybe something you didn't like happened, and think, what preceded it? Did you have a feeling in your gut, in your heart? Did your neck get tight? Did your body contract? Were there signs? Did you go flying backward, like, oh no, don't go that way? And then you talked yourself out of it. Your logical mind came in and like, oh, you're just being stupid. You're being fearful. You're letting your fear run you. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Like, where you just, like, the ego a lot of times will masquerade as logic. So we get to watch out for that. So I love the body as a tool. It's an instrument that you can use, and you can play with it now. The body will tell you everything that's in the subconscious mind. Now, it's not a fortune teller. It's not a predictor. This is funny. I'm going to digress for a minute. I'll come back. But I started looking into this thing called the emotion code for my youngest daughter. And they taught the sway test as a muscle check, a muscle testing thing. And I'll teach you that. I've used it for many, many years. But my daughter was having a blast with it. And then she started to, in my opinion, abuse it. Like, she started saying, okay, will I lose 30 pounds? I don't know. Like, she just started asking future questions. I'm like, it's not a magician. It has access to your subconscious mind. It's not going to predict the future. But I do love to use it. And the sway test is simply this. I'll demonstrate it after I explain it, because I'm going to turn sideways so you can really see it. You just relax your body. And and here they had you close your eyes. I don't usually do that. I don't think it's necessary, but maybe that's a good way to learn it. And you just simply, I make a statement. That's how I've always done it. Like, my name is Karen. And if it's true for me, I will go forward. So you can see it that way. My name is Ethel. No, it's not. So I do it with food. So if I have food that's questionable in my refrigerator, I'm like, okay, is this food good? Right? Like, so I'm like, I just hold it. And if it's good, I go forward. If it's like not going to kill me, I just stand still, but it's, it's like kind of maybe on the verge. And if it's spoiled, I will fly backward. And you can do that with allergies. You can do it with supplements. I do it in the grocery store sometimes. Like, is this particular food good for me? And I'll go forward or back. So it's a good way to play with that and to get to know that your body has so much information, and just tap into it. So I haven't used it for making decisions because I have different systems that I use, but why not? It's a tool. So let's see. I don't like the word should. I find it like a negative word that has like shaming connotations to it. So I like to ask the divine questions, like, what would you have me do? They're kind of open. And then I listen for information. So how can we use the sway test in that? So just a simple statement like, I am going to this meeting tonight. It's good for me to go to this meeting tonight. And then I'll go forward. Or It's good for me to go to this meeting tonight. Boom, backward, right? Like one of the two. So play with it and see what happens. Like we get to be curious. We get to play because we tap into so little of our potential, as I shared last week. So play with the sway test. And I'm going to show you like what it really looks like. Be prepared to catch yourself. If something is like super good for you or super bad for you, your body might go flying. So be prepared to catch yourself. So I'm just going to do like a food I like. Okay. I like lasagna. Yes, I do. All right. I like asparagus. No, I do not. I'm one of those people. So just play with it, see what happens and enjoy it. Have fun. There are other muscle checks you can do, but just play with that one. You don't need them all. You just need one and see what it is. I like to start with show me a full body yes. And then just let your body do what it's going to do. Show me a full body no. Whoop. All right. So play, have fun. All right. The next thing is to notice, like, say, for example, somebody asks you, hey, do you want to go to this concert with me? The first thing I do is notice my body. What is my body doing? A lot of times in the pit of my stomach, I will get this like, if it's a no. And it's like, no, thanks. Thanks for thinking of me. It's just that easy because I've practiced it. Or if I'm like jumping out of my skin, like it's like a hell yeah, then I know. But my body produces chemicals that will induce an emotional state. So are my emotions like, and a posture too, like if I'm like slumping or like, I know it's a no. It's just a no. So watch the emotions that come up for you too. And if you get into these stories, which is the next thing, the stories that we tell ourselves, like, well, she's going to be mad at me if I don't go. So I probably have to because she did this thing for me. You know, whatever your stories are, if it's not motivated by love and a true desire to do it, then you get to honor yourself. You get to honor yourself in that place where you know what's best for you. You already know what you want, but then there's the logical part, right? The 5% of our brain that will talk us into things. And it's all based in fear and shoulds and have tos and all that crap. And that will breed resentments. And you never know. That could be the time you get into an accident and you lose your leg because you didn't listen. So, I mean, I don't say that as a scare tactic. I say that as you get to listen. You don't know why it's a no for you. You just get to trust yourself. And the more you practice saying no and you feel really good and solid in yourself, the easier it will become. And when you don't say no, when you wanted to, when you felt like it was a no for you, it wasn't an alignment, just notice. Notice how you feel. Notice what happens. And then use that as information, not as a way to beat the crap out of yourself. Just use it as information like, oh, interesting. I did some more research on that. That's what I like to do. Like call it research if you mess up. Okay, I did some more research there. Okay, I see how that worked out. I just needed to run that experiment one more time to make sure that the data was predictable. Like I keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? But we can run the experiment as many times as we want to. We'll see what happens. So play and honor yourself. And when you have an experience that doesn't have an emotional charge to it, like you're not beating yourself up, you don't feel shame or guilt or disgust, that is wisdom. And that is what we all strive for, right? In this lifetime, where we are wanting to evolve, not revolve, keep repeating the same crap over and over. So in order to evolve our experience, we get to be open, we get to be curious, we get to be observers. I want to share with you, I was just in Cancun at a Dr. Joe Dispenza week-long event. And there was a woman that I don't know, I just went on the Facebook group for the group because I needed a roommate for the first night. I had one covered for the rest of the time. And this woman said, yeah, you can stay with me. And I didn't look her up on Facebook until I got there. And when I saw her profile, I'm like, of course, this is the one. I mean, she's a Reiki master. She's a psychic and intuitive, a medium. I'm like, of course. I mean, this is so perfect. It was so divine. And I fell in love with this woman. I'm like, we hung out like almost every day for the rest of the week. I love this woman. And on the last day of the retreat, during the walking meditation, I had just finished. We were on the beach and I was walking up to the hotel and I heard a voice, stop. So I just stopped. Like I listened. It was like an internal voice, right? Like that intuition voice. So I stopped. And there's the woman, her name is Jen, lying on the beach, finishing her meditation. So all the walking meditations you finish lying down. And I just knew, I had this knowing that I was the conduit that had been chosen for her healing. So I just dropped in, I rubbed my hands together, I sent healing energy, and I just knew it was her hip. I sent healing energy to her hip, and I could feel my hands tingling right now. And she didn't open her eyes. And I got this message like, okay, it's done. And so I walked back up to the hotel. A couple of days later, I said, hey, Jen, did you feel me when you were on the beach after this? It was called electric body meditation. Did you feel me at all above you? She's like, no. I said, I sent healing energy to your hip. She's like, my hip feels amazing. I didn't know what happened. And then I just heard from her that on her way from Canada to Mexico, on her flight there, her hip hurt so bad, her leg kept getting numb. She had to keep standing up. And she was in so much pain. And that first night that we were together, we walked a long way. She said, I could barely walk. I was in so much pain. And she said, on my way home, she said, I had no pain the entire flight, and I still have no pain. And so that is an example of being tuned in and just listening. Like years ago, I would have felt really stupid doing that. Like, okay, stop. And I'm going to put my hands out above this woman, like who's lying on the beach. Like I would have been so concerned about what people would think of me. What if she opens her eyes? She's going to think I'm really weird. But I didn't. I just trusted this voice spoke to me. I'm like, okay, got it. I'm willing to be your divine conduit. Yeah. And it was so beautiful, and it's so rewarding to hear those stories. Like, oh my gosh, she's healed. She's healed. And that's a power we all have. We all have the ability to heal ourselves, to heal others. And we have infinite wisdom available to us at all times. I believe that we have the wisdom of everybody who's ever lived, everybody who's living now, everybody who ever will, available to us right now. It's just a matter of selecting that potential in the quantum field and acting as if, like, how will I feel when I am as wise as Mother Teresa, and compassionate as Mother Teresa, as wise as Martin Luther King, as inspirational as Gandhi? How will I feel? Like pretty damn good, right? Like what are the emotions I'll experience? Gratitude, worthiness, freedom, love, unity, connection. And since I've been home, I have been in that vibration. I have been creating my future, and I am blown away at what has occurred, what I've created. And it's always been there. It's always been there as a potential. I just never felt worthy of it. So I never selected it. So if you are stuck, I highly recommend you do some Joe Dispenza, because there's nothing I've experienced that's been like it. And what I've created in a week has been unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I'm just so happy and delighted. I've been playing with it. So trust, when you hear those voices, let go of the need to look good. Let go of being judged. Who cares? Who cares? Because if you were chosen to heal another person, or to, give a kind word to another person, or to pay for somebody's dinner, or to stop and talk with the homeless man who looks really scary and crazy, who are you to say no to God, universe, divine source? Like, you've been chosen and you get to step in. And I know sometimes it's really scary and it's stretchy, but that's where the juice is. The juice is in doing those things that scare us, to getting outside of our comfort zones and creating bigger lives for ourselves. Because if we want to stay in our comfort zones, we're going to have these little tiny lives that are not satisfying. And I don't know about you, but I want everything. And now I'm finally at the position, or in the place where I'm like, yeah, I deserve everything. And why not? It's a potential. So I have this post-it I wrote, like, and I've been just playing with it. And it's, surely in the realm of infinite possibilities, there is a potential for whatever it is that I want to create. So whether it's wealth, abundance, love, health, a TED talk, the man of my dreams, whatever it is, there's a potential for that. And guess what? I'm creating it like that. It's materializing in this realm, in the 3D, in no time. And I don't know what to tell you. It's unbelievable and fun. And I want you to experience it. So let's play. All right. So how I developed my intuition initially was, like I said, when I was walking on the beach, I heard a voice. So I'm really an auditory person. And I started talking with God, Holy Spirit, the divine, whatever you want to call it. And the way that I heard best was through journaling, which was a little surprising to me. So I would journal, like, okay, what would you have me do here? And then I would listen, and I would hear a voice. And I still do this. It still works beautifully. And what I like to do is I'll write my question in one color, like black or blue, and then I'll write the answer in red or green, like a different color, so that if I ever feel fear and I don't hear the voice, the only time I don't hear the voice is when I'm afraid I won't hear it, or when I'm feeling unworthy of it, like I'm judging myself for some choices that I made. Otherwise, when I'm open, it's always there. Like, it's always 3 breaths away, 1 breath away, 1 question away. Like, we have free will. We get to ask. We get to ask for guidance. And I love that question. Like, what would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? Where would you have me go? Like, just be open, be curious, be playful, and expect an answer. Expect one. Now, other people, they might see signs, like they might hear a song that has their answer in it. And I know several people that hear lyrics and they're like, oh my gosh, there was my answer. It's just amazing. And some people might see the side of a truck that says their answer. They're like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. Other people might meet people that just mirror certain things back to them, or just show them that the world is a loving place and there is no separation between us. We're all connected. So you don't know where your answers are going to come from. And if you do think then that's the known, and you're predicting it based on what you've experienced in the past. So part of it is staying open and curious and playful. Playful. We get to play. So what are you guys going to create? What are you committed to creating? What would it be like if you didn't get decision fatigue, if you just knew right away the answer to everything? Like, which way should I turn down this street? Should I turn left or right? Which way should I drive to the market? Which market should I go to? Whatever it is, like, whatever, it doesn't even matter. If you're on a dating site, like, which guy is the one for me? Which guys will teach me something? It could be absolutely anything, and you get to trust. The head is wrong 99% of the time, the heart is always right. It's always right. So one thing that I've been doing too is focusing energy on my heart center and opening it up, opening. And I didn't realize that my heart had slowly closed a bit. I mean, it was still open, but not like wide open. And so it's a practice. Like I cultivate every single day. I'm opening my heart. I'm sending energy to my heart. I'm recalling the faces of the people I love and feeling the emotions of how much I love them and sending them that love and connecting to their hearts. And that keeps me open to everyone. It keeps me open to love in general, because that is what I choose to experience. In this iteration of this lifetime, I'm here to love. I'm here to love. So if I am talking to you, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear, what is it that you want to cultivate in yourself? What would be different in your life if you really trusted yourself? What would you create? How much energy would that free up? I think about that alone, how much energy I wasted second guessing myself or hemming and hawing, like not being able to make a decision. And once I learned to really trust myself and just say no to things that weren't in alignment, I had so much energy. and and I love myself more. Like I appreciate myself. It's like an honoring of who I am. And it's evidence. I'm telling myself, you're worthy. You are worthy to say yes or no. You don't need to do anything that's out of alignment for you. And one of the principles from A Course in Miracles is God would never ask his son to sacrifice. And we are all children of God. And God would never ask us to sacrifice. That's not what we're here for. We're here for abundance. We're here for joy. We're here for happiness. We're here for expansion and connection, not to sacrifice. So I will leave you with that. Create beautiful lives. Step into your intuition. Get uncomfortable, because it's going to be a new habit for you. And trust yourself. Trust your heart. Do some journaling and see. Just ask, like, how do I best hear you? And play. Have fun. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week, and I'm going to have a special treat for you right here on Irresistible You. Thanks. Mwah.